Have you ever walked through a forest and felt watched? Not in a creepy way, but in a deep, ancient, and knowing way? Have you ever looked at a stubborn weed pushing its way through a crack in the pavement and admired its sheer, unapologetic will to live? We are surrounded by a silent green kingdom that outnumbers us, outlives us, and underpins our very existence. And what if that silence isn't silence at all? What if it's a language we've simply forgotten how to hear? Imagine, just for a moment, a world where plants could communicate. What secrets would they tell? Now, before you dismiss this as pure fantasy, let's get something straight. Plants do communicate. Scientists have discovered this incredible hidden world of connection. They send chemical signals through the air to warn each other of pests. They share nutrients and information through a vast underground network of fungal threads. A sort of wood wide web, if you will. They are aware, they are responsive, they are, in their own way, talking all the time. But we're not here for a science lesson. We're here to take that amazing fact and let our imagination run wild with it. What if we could tap into that network? What if we could understand the messages? Now let's start small. Your backyard or the local park. If you could hear the grass, what would it say? I imagine it would be a constant collective grumble about dogs, followed by a sheer panic scream every time the lawnmower starts up. The dandelions would be the defiant rebels, shouting revolutionary slogans about freedom and spreading their seeds to the wind, while the perfectly manicured rosebush would be the neighborhood snob, bragging about its latest bloom and looking down on everyone else. Did you see the aphids on that marigold? So tacky. The old oak tree in the corner would be the neighborhood historian, sighing patiently at the fleeting dramas of the smaller plants, occasionally offering a cryptic piece of advice that no one understands until it's too late. And now let's go deeper. Let's leave the petty dramas of the garden and walk into an old-growth forest. Here the voices would change. The air would be thick with a slow, deep, resonant hum. These ancient beings wouldn't gossip. They would speak in epics. A giant redwood might spend a decade telling the story of a single sunrise it witnessed 300 years ago. A circle of birch trees might share the memory of the people who once lived there, their laughter and their sorrows soaked into the soil. They would speak of time not in minutes and hours, but in seasons and centuries. They would teach us about patience, about resilience, about the profound strength in standing still. They would speak of the interconnectedness of all things. Not as a philosophical concept, but as a lived daily reality. They are not just individual trees. They are one forest, one mind, one ancient breathing lung of the planet. What would it feel like to hear that? To feel your own frantic, hurried sense of time just dissolve? Now let's bring it back home. Look at that plant on your windowsill. The one you sometimes forget to water. If it could talk, what would it say? Maybe it's not as profound as the forest. Maybe it's just a little more sun to the left, please. And for the love of chlorophyll, dust my leaves. I can't breathe in here. Maybe that drooping branch isn't just a sign of thirst. It's a dramatic, theatrical sigh of despair. That new leaf unfurling isn't just growth. It's a tiny green shout of triumph. We worry so much about what we should be doing in our life, but maybe that little plant is just happy to be here, sharing this patch of sunlight with you. It doesn't ask for much. It just asks to be noticed. It's a quiet friend who sees you at your best and your worst, and its only request is a drink of water and a bit of light. There's something beautiful in that, isn't there? But let's be honest, it wouldn't be all poetry and friendly advice. Nature is beautiful, but it's also brutal. A world where plants could communicate would also be a world where we could hear the grim reality of the struggle for survival. You'd hear the quiet, menacing threat of the invasive kudzu vine as it slowly strangles a native tree, whispering, "This sunlight is mine now." You'd hear the sweet, deceptive lure of a pitcher plant, its voice a siren song to unsuspecting insects. You would hear the desperate, silent screaming of a forest on fire. If we could hear that, truly hear it as a chorus of pain, could we ever look at a wildfire the same way again? It forces us to confront the reality that nature isn't a gentle paradise. It's a complex, sometimes terrifying, and utterly magnificent battle for life. So why does any of this matter? Now, it's fun to imagine, sure. But it's more than that. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention, that pulls us out of the present moment and into a digital haze. We've been taught that imagination is for kids, that it's something you grow out of. But that's a tragedy. Your imagination is not a toy, it's a tool. It's the tool that allows you to see the world not just for what it is, but for what it could be. It's the part of you that finds magic in the mundane, that sees a story in a storm cloud, and that can feel the ancient presence of a forest. To imagine that plants can talk is to give yourself permission to look at a simple tree and see a living, breathing historian. It's an act of re-enchanting your own world. You don't need a special device or a magic spell to hear these stories. You just need to be quiet. The next time you're outside, just stop. Close your eyes for a second, take a breath, and then open them and really look. Don't just see a tree, see its story. See the way its branches reach for the light, the scars on its bark, the way it stands against the wind. Let your inner child, that part of you that still knows how to play and wonder, ask the question, what have you seen? You might be surprised by the answers that grow in the silence. So I want to ask you, if you could have a conversation with any plant in the world, which one would it be? And what is the one question you would ask it? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to see what you come up with. And thank you very much for your time. That was another episode from Sparkcast from English Plus Podcast. Remember, never stop learning, and in this special case, never stop imagining.